Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to this masterclass. Today, we'll dive into what it really takes to transition from your corporate role into a success coaching business, or, it could be part-time or full-time. And if you come from a science, tech, or engineering background, just like me and many of my clients or everybody who follows me here, you're relatively new to coaching and leadership. This masterclass is designed just for you. Also, know your schedule is already full between work, family, and life, and you're done with advice that only works for huge businesses, full-time coaches with a team of, I don't know, 5 or 10 or a massive 5, 6 figure budget. So this means that the kind of business you want to create has to be super simple. It has to be lean, so you do not spend time and money on vanity stuff that looks good, but do not lead to any results. I also want to tell you upfront that this masterclass won't end with a big program to pitch, but I will show you how it works if you want to work with me very briefly for anyone who's interested. So relax, and I hope you leave with some mindset shifts and insights. Okay. So, a quick introduction of myself before we move on. My name is Sarah Mobahamfad. I'm an Iranian-born Swiss, and I live in the eastern part of Switzerland with my husband. I actually live in the Alps, surrounded by nature and animals. And my career began in engineering and supply chain management, where I spent nearly a decade managing complex operations, working in fast-paced environments, production plants, logistics centers, and later on as a sourcing manager, handling multiple seven-figure portfolios. I actually did not directly transition from corporate to coaching. I had an e-commerce business, a fashion business, a consulting side hustle for a few years. And becoming a coach was kind of an accident and a very slow transition. Although I left my corporate job, the engineer in me never left. I have always loved putting different pieces together and creating systems that work seamlessly. And actually, I do not think people should quit their corporate jobs. Although I am self-employed myself, I think there are ways that you can keep your corporate jobs and do whatever you want. So I am not against, I'm not really like quit your 9 to 5 kind of person. I also firmly believe that success or failure depends on the systems we create, and systems only work when all parts they're cohesively connected and work together. And this holistic systemic approach is something I bring into my coaching and consulting work. I do not see businesses as just, checklists of things to do in sales, marketing, or finance. Instead, I focus on the bigger picture, how everything is interconnected, and the humans behind the businesses, their well-being, relationships, and mindset matters just as much as business processes and operations and strategies. And in my journey, I have coached over 300 individuals and helped over 140 businesses as a strategist, digital marketing expert, and copywriter, not just coach. And my favorite side hustle these days is this podcast I'm doing together with two of my friends, both of them are engineers and entrepreneurs, about the career and business topics related to engineers, scientists, and tech professionals at work. The majority of the audience I've served are from this background, so I'm really excited about it. So, why am I doing this? Because to be honest, there's so many easier jobs to do. So for me, freedom has always been the heart of everything I do. Growing up in Iran, a strict system where expressing your true opinion has serious consequences, I developed an obsession for freedom for myself and for others. And I believe true freedom is the ability to be who you are, express yourself fully without fear, and align your work with your personal values. I believe coaches, in their essence, are architects of freedom. They help clients live more authentic lives, be themselves, and find the courage and clarity to do this. And this is, for me, the definition of freedom. This is why I enjoy supporting those who are transitioning from other backgrounds to coaching, because I think they're doing this to create the freedom they want for themselves and for others. So, now that you know who I am and why I'm here, let's focus on the real reason we are here. So, these are some of the very common statements I have frequently heard in different forums, and it might sound familiar to you, so I thought I brought it here. I've heard them from clients right before we start working, or people who just, they book a call with me and want to explore how it's like, and they just share what is bothering them. So, this one is my favorite one. I'm concerned that coaching market is so crowded, and every time I check my LinkedIn feed, all the coaches I know are sharing about the latest networking event they joined. I do not have the time to do that, and everyone except me seems to have something to brag about. I hate LinkedIn. Is there a way I can do this outside LinkedIn? And this was from one of my clients who's an experienced scientist in the food industry, and she's also a certified leadership coach for working mostly with scientists. And she's also a single mother, super busy with childcare and her job. So this was quite a challenge for her. Or this other one from a lovely lady with over 20 years in HR in pharma. She shared with me, I have over 12,000 followers on LinkedIn, but it feels like just numbers. I get likes, comments, and even messages, but when it comes to actually converting them into paying clients, I feel stuck and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. It's frustrating to have visibility, but no real result. And you might think large following would solve the problem of client attraction, and it doesn't. Or this other one, it's actually from one of my favorite people. She was my client, but we became friends and we did so much together. I have so many ideas, but narrowing down my focus feels overwhelming. I keep second guessing if I'm choosing the right niche or if I'm just wasting time. It's hard to know where to start when I'm used to having clear guidance in my job. So for this client, having so many different passions, skills, and interests made it difficult to focus on the niche. And eventually we figured out a way, and she didn't even need to pick a niche. She could create one. So if those statements I just shared with you here, if those resonated, I assume you've invested in some form of coach training. You here because you're kind of exploring this career, whether as a conscious career move or just maybe simply you just want to enhance your leadership skills. But this type of work resonates with you, I guess. So, regardless of your path, one thing is clear. To be a successful coach, you need clients on regular basis. There is no way about this. And many certified coaches feel they've done everything right, getting certified, networking, sharing their expertise, and yet still struggle with the unpredictable random client flow. And you may feel invisible compared to experienced coaches, those famous ones that have been around for years, and find it difficult to balance coaching with your full-time job. You also notice you're so busy with your job and family life, and there is not enough time to market your services. Suddenly the sheer amount of activities needed to market, sell, promote yourself, and actually coaching clients is so overwhelming. And you're also going through a massive professional identity shift, trying to come out as a coach after years of doing something totally different. You worried about judgment and how everyone else is kind of thinking of what you're doing. And you probably find LinkedIn unbearable, as this comes up a lot. So I had to just bring it up here. I'm not a LinkedIn mentor, but this is just the most frequent thing I hear about. So you might find LinkedIn unbearable. So everyone seems to know what they're doing. Everyone's bragging on LinkedIn and coaches sharing about their success. It makes you feel like you're the only one who's lost and stuck and everyone has it together. Everyone else has it together. So you suddenly notice getting clients is actually tough. They didn't teach about getting clients in coach trainings you did. It was mostly probably about psychology and coaching, all of that. So it's actually tough. And when you don't have clients to coach, you might feel less confident about your coaching skills. Then, as someone who is a lifelong learner, you want to cure your lack of confidence by getting another certification. So you spend a lot of time and money so that you get another credential, but clients are not coming. So if this resonates, at least one of these symptoms resonates with you, then you're experiencing what I call the over-credentialed, under-recognized coach cycle. And I was in it for quite some time myself. And no, the reason some coaches get stuck in this cycle is not that coaching market is saturated, because this always comes up, and no, this is not the reason. And I know 90% of the people who follow me come from science, tech, or engineering backgrounds or work with clients in this field. So you might be interested in some relevant facts and figures. I think you probably already know that the coaching industry is booming with a 60% growth in revenue since 2019, generating 4.5 billion globally. It's both exciting and intimidating for some coaches. There are going to be more coaches. But while the industry appears saturated with influencer coaches and those popular figures and also a lot of generic programs, there is actually a significant gap for trained and certified coaches, the accredited ones with cross-functional skills, those who have rigorous, like proper training. That's what I'm talking about. Such as professionals, who come from science, tech, and engineering backgrounds. We don't have many coaches from these backgrounds. We have so many from HR fields, marketing fields, sales fields, teaching backgrounds, but there's actually a gap among coaches who come from seriously technical, analytical backgrounds. And the personal development market, it has developed a lot in the last 5, 6 years. Now we are dealing with an audience who is more matured. They are more cautious. So many have had negative experiences working with a famous coach and, paying a lot of money for these big programs and not getting the results promised. So people expect more authenticity and more transparency. And this is not much talked about, actually. So let's look at the STEM fields. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields as a market to serve. And there are massive opportunities in this space. In Europe alone, I mean, these are just a few numbers. It's so much more if you want to go explore or just check my blog. I'll constantly talk about this type of numbers. In Europe alone, employment in STEM fields is projected to grow by 8% this year, in 2025, that we're doing this masterclass, and women make up 41% of scientists and engineers. This shows there are going to be a lot of emerging leaders who look for coaching, and this is the type. These are educated people. I mean, that you're them. Always looking for support. They actually understand the value of investing in this kind of support. And very often I see them. They are looking for coaches. They can't find one, or it, although the market looks saturated, actual people who are searching for coaches, they don't easily find the one they want immediately. And in 2024, we saw lots of reorganizations, job losses, and an influx of STEM professionals redefining careers. This represents another opportunity for coaches. And this was actually one of the main themes, not only for me, like for my clients, but also the clients of my clients. I do not have actual numbers, but I've had endless conversations only around this topic. I've had so many clients going through this. I mean, Switzerland pharma industries is quite big, and I could really see it happening. We all experienced it. So many coaches believe that coaching market is saturated and this is why they are struggling. But this is a misunderstanding. The real issue is actually down to two things, the reason behind the struggles. One is the lack of business and marketing skills in most coaches. Also many have negative associations with all things marketing or business, and they kind of avoid this aspect, hoping that quality of their work will speak for itself. Just be a good coach, just uh, learn more. But a lot of coaches totally disagree. They disregard this aspect of the growth, and they create content, even a website, without doing any marketing research. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, you see a lot of people who are very good at sales and marketing. They're doing much, much better than those with so many credentials and the real good coaches. I think they are suffering actually just because they have not invested enough in their business skills. And you won't believe how many coaches avoid investing in business support and mentors themselves and try to self-teach themselves business because they kind of underestimate it. And this misalignment, not walking their talk, shows up in their energy. You cannot expect others to come and invest in working with you, but then you struggle in one area, you're not willing to invest. It just doesn't work like that. And so many do this. It's just unbelievable, but it is happening. And then there is this overemphasis on serving entrepreneurs and executives as attractive markets. While there's so many overlooked markets, nobody's paying attention to them. Everybody wants to coach entrepreneurs. I don't have a number to show you about this, but I've talked to so many people on weekly basis, and then every time I ask like people who kind of come to book a call with me, they're like, who would you like to help? And they're like, I want to coach entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are overwhelmed. I want to coach entrepreneurs. So everyone wants to sort of go into this niche because they've heard this is profitable, but then there are so many overlooked niches, overlooked markets that coaches are not actually paying attention to. And STEM field, science, tech, engineering, mathematics professionals, there are so many, they are in need of coaching. This is such a untapped market. There is so much potential here that is not being appreciated. Also, STEM careers, scientists, engineers, tech professionals come with unique challenges that coaches can address. Especially if you're someone from this background, you would resonate with this group a lot. So if you have any interest, I really encourage you to tap into this. So some of the topics a coach can address for this field is, for example, technical to leadership transition. This is quite a big topic. Moving from hands-on technical, scientific roles, analytical roles to leadership often requires soft skills. A lot of professionals in this field just don't have them. They just use their common sense, and sometimes they really struggle with like suddenly taking over a team of 6, 7. They don't know what to do with them. So there is a lot of opportunity to coach around this topic here. Or career identity shifts. Many feel stuck in specialized roles, struggling to redefine themselves when they want to pivot to more creative or strategic careers. There are a lot of people who are going through that. And also burnout and work-life integration in these fields. The fast-paced, high-pressure nature of research and development, engineering jobs often leads to burnout and difficulty balancing personal life. And there are not, I mean, of course, we have a lot of therapists and coaches outside, but not everybody actually understands the details, the subtle aspects of these type of jobs. So sometimes, that the support these people are receiving it's not it doesn't resonate the way they want to. So we desperately need people, I think, from these fields to actually come to become coaches and and help, or at least work with a lot of people from these backgrounds and understand what's going on really in their lives. So if you're interested in learning more about the unique challenges faced by STEM professionals and how coaching can support them, you can, I'm not going to talk about it too much here because this is not within the scope of our work, but you can check the podcast I'm co-hosting with two of my friends. It's called The Heart of the Equation. You can easily find all the details on YouTube or in my emails, but go listen to that. We'll talk a lot about all of these topics. So you see, market is not saturated. There are so many areas that are not addressed very well. Okay, so we just talked about why the reason a lot of coaches, new coaches are struggling with getting clients is not saturated market. So now let's explore some of the common challenges of these over-credentialed, under-recognized coaches, and which might resonate to you, and then we will go into the reasons of why this is happening. So the real problem behind all of this is that most of us we have been taught to approach business in ways that don't fit our strengths, our values, the way we naturally think. Most of the business content you see on internet is, coming from business books taught in business schools, created for big businesses. And a lot of that content is being regurgitated without even, people just copy paste and give things to AI, and you get a lot of content that is actually not applicable to your life. So there are some false beliefs that new coaches they just buy into because they think this is how things like. For example, you've been told that getting more certification will somehow solve the problem of attracting clients, but in reality, another certification will not fix a lack of a strategy. Or maybe you've told yourself, I don't want a big business, I just want to coach. But here's the truth, when you don't want to make millions or hire a huge team, you still need a business and you need leadership skills. You need a system that allows you to market, sell, and coach in ways that fits your life. So you need all of these skills to survive and also thrive. And another common misconception in is seeing businesses as just a list of tasks. This is something I talk about a lot. Posting on LinkedIn, attending networking events, or creating content without understanding the bigger picture. So most coaches think that marketing and sales are separate from the coaching, but it's actually not. Everything is connected, and how you coach, how you sell, and who you are, they all flow together. And businesses are not just a collection of things to do, they function as systems. So everything kind of fits together. You want to be a good coach, you also need to run a good coaching business. And finally, I mean, unless you're working for an organization, of course. And finally, something most new coaches overlook is this importance of deep self-awareness and market awareness. This is critical. You need to know yourself first. And by know yourself is what you need to know. What are your unique skills? What are your strengths? What is your area of genius, your zone of genius? What are you really good at and also enjoy doing? You really need to have a very deep awareness around that. Also know how it fits with your market. And most coaches skip this step and jump straight into what niche is profitable. Let's pick a niche. And the truth is your niche should come from knowing who you are and then also who you are best qualified to serve. If you skip that stage, things are not going, you're gonna get stuck. And it's also where real clarity and clients come from. So when you understand this, everything shifts, and you can design a coaching business that fits your life, feels aligned with your values, and attracts clients naturally without feeling forced or disconnected, and without needing you have to convince people. And this is what I'm here to show you today. And I'm sure you've heard these phrases, what got you here won't get you there. And when you're stuck and the usual solutions don't work, our natural response is to try everything. Networking, posting on LinkedIn, taking courses, watching a lot of free webinars like this one. And just hoping something will click. But when that leads nowhere, it's a sign that we need a new approach. So if you're trying everything, but everything that's familiar and not getting far, this is a signal. And here's the problem. A new approach can feel scary and risky because it's very new and unfamiliar. So we avoid it. But not solving the problem is even riskier. This is where most new coaches get stuck. They postpone the bold actions needed to break the cycle and instead just wait for things to fall into place, almost hoping for a miracle. Sometimes they don't want to admit it, but a lot of people are just, doing what's familiar and then hoping something happens. I did that too. And many think earning another certification again, say, okay, let's do this. And every time they get stuck, they go get another certification. This is you keep you see me repeat that a lot because this is happening a lot. This is like the first reaction. Most of the people who, especially those who come from really educated backgrounds, this is their survival mechanisms. Get another certification, and then I will be credible enough for my clients. But especially for those with multiple degrees, more credentials won't fix the client attraction problem. What happens when you stay stuck in this cycle for so long, just, not taking that big bold action and just doing the easy, I don't know, available, risk-free stuff? It's burnout from unpaid efforts and volunteer work. Offering free sessions, giving away value without sustainable results drains your energy and motivation. And most coaches I see, I mean, I was doing that. I got really resentful. I was feeling like these people do not see the value in my work. They don't respect me enough. And it's not a good feeling when you do a lot of that. There's also missed opportunities and wasted potential. You could be helping clients and building momentum, but instead you were stuck over preparing. And the cost of waiting is high. I like this quote from Seth Godin. He says, the cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. So, you might try something totally new. It might be crazy, but at least, you doing something that is breaking the cycle. And if you're waiting for perfect timing, you'll be waiting forever. This solution, it's about taking action now. And there's never going to be a perfect time. Let's break down some more common myths that might be holding you back. So this one is very familiar. This is a statement I hear a lot. I should figure it out figured it out all on my own before investing in help. And the truth is, trying to DIY your way through business leads to wasted time and frustration. You do not need to have all the answers before getting support. And the fastest path forward is through guidance, not try and error. And I get that a lot. A lot of people, coaching is a big investment. They say like, Sarah, let me spend some time, organize my notes and, perfect them. And then we can consider working together. But they just spend another month and they go nowhere. And for me, I'm so used to dealing with the mess and organizing stuff. And this is exactly where you need to get help with. There is help available. Do not spend time, in just organizing this different mind maps and everything. And this other one, that's this myth that most new coaches believe. The coaching market is too crowded. There is no space for me. This is a major myth. And yes, it will always feel like that. This is a crowded market, of course, but your unique experience, background, and perspective that creates an advantage that no one else can replicate. And the coaching industry is like the art or book market, actually. There is always room for fresh voices. You never say there are too many authors, no, there are too many books. There's no room for another book. It doesn't work like that. This is about creativity. So, but if you do not bring your unique perspective, then you risk blending and becoming commoditized. And yes, you be part of that crowd, and it's going to be challenging. And I've had clients ask me, aren't you creating competitions by coaching other business coaches? Because I've done that. I do leadership coaches. I also coach leadership coaches. I'm a business coach. I've also trained business coaches doing exactly what I do in the exact same niche I'm working with. But the answer is no. Competition doesn't work exactly like this in coaching because we all have different approaches, styles, and energies. And your client, they choose you because of who you are, your vibe, your energy, your background, your story, and not exactly because of what you do. So there is room for everyone. Also, this other statement I hear a lot is this one. I have to market myself like an influencer to attract clients. And this myth is especially paralyzing for introverts or those who are not active on social media. Suddenly you feel you're expected to have the bikini body, or I don't know, have a very like luxurious lifestyle and travel a lot, and you don't have that. And like, there's nothing for me to put on social media. But here's the truth. Influencer content is designed for likes and followers. Business content is about attracting buyers. I personally, I do not have a big following. I do not do that kind of stuff. I just share my businesses, my insight around business topics. No, that's not viral. And content that converts doesn't have to be viral. It has to build trust with the right type of person and also showcase your expertise. That's what it's about. So your clients do not need flashy like entertainment or endless how-to educational posts. They need mindset shifts and trust building moments that show them you understand their challenges and you're qualified to support them. So you want to focus on authentic visibility and creating genuine connection, not chasing vanity metrics that you probably cannot actually create. Or this other one. I need to have everything perfectly ready before offering my services. And this is another belief that holds coaches back. You don't need like perfect website or have everything set up, all your branding and logo and everything figured out. You need a few key foundational pieces in place to confidently start inviting clients. And we'll cover exactly what those foundational pieces are today. But really, I started just presenting my offers in Google Docs. I had, I think, 197 followers on Instagram, mostly following me from my other businesses. So none of these actually matter. Um, so yeah, we'll get into it now. And I believe that your success as a coach comes from embracing your unique edge, the distinct blend of your skills, experiences, and personal insights. And it's a combination of everything you've learned, not just one thing. And it's what makes you stand out, just like artists or writers with their own creative with their own creative voices. That's exactly how it works for you as coaches. And new coaches often feel they need to compete with more experienced coaches, but the truth is, your authentic perspective is what sets you apart. exactly where you are as a small, new, emerging coach. That's what some clients resonate with. And when you fully own this, you naturally attract the right clients. And you create a coaching business that's aligned with your values, it's impactful, it actually moves the needle for your clients, and it's sustainable because you're not trying to be like everyone else. You're showing up as who you are, and that is your greatest asset. And also, something a lot of new coaches underestimate is that, when you show up as yourself, and also admit that I'm a small business, I have maybe more time, I can take more time with the clients personally. This is something you can do. Mel Robbins cannot do that. Marie Forleo cannot do that. Amy Porterfield cannot do it. Tony Robbins cannot do that. They're big, massive businesses. They will not take one-on-one private time with clients, really get into their spend time with them, really understand what's going on with them. This is the privilege and opportunity only new coaches have. And I'm also seeing myself, my business is also growing. I love doing one-on-one work, but I'm seeing it's becoming more difficult to offer that sort of private personal space at an affordable price to more people. So this is an opportunity actually, but you can only do it if you really know who you are, what you're really good at, what brings joy to you, and where you can show up at your best and who you're most qualified to serve. So let me explain that further, because this is about your genius. It's not exactly about your strength. It could actually be also your weakness. So let's take Michael Phelps. He's an example. I'm sure you know him. He's won a lot of awards, and he's one of the like an Olympic champion. He was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. He struggled in traditional classroom settings, but instead of forcing himself to fit the mold, he leaned into his natural strength, swimming. I think his mother was very, very much aware of his challenge and what would be helpful to him. So his so-called weakness, the ADHD, that's a lot of people think it's a weakness, but it's actually a gift to some people, became his superpower, turning him into an Olympic champion. And your unique background and your strength, when you embrace it, it sets you apart in an authentic way. And it's not about being the best in a single area. It's about leveraging your unique mix of skills. It's like a cocktail of your skills and joys, knowledge, your passions to create a coaching business that feels authentic and impactful. And of course, this demands a lot of inner work, self-awareness, knowing who you are. And for most people, this unique edge, their genius, is a blind spot, is not something you sit down in your office and figure out yourself. It is because it's too natural. Most people cannot put a name on it, cannot articulate it, so cannot see it. And this is why you need to collect feedback from others who know you and work, who know you also professionally, so can give you very accurate feedback. And also work with coaches and mentors who can bring out your uniqueness. This is also the big part of my work with people. And most of the time they're surprised to know that this was like their superpower and they weren't even aware of it. So this is really what can change the game for you as a coach. So, okay, traditional coaching business methods don't work for a lot of people. And you probably heard that building a coaching business means crafting, a complex business plan, posting on a lot of stuff on social media, using some kind of sales script to follow. Or maybe like me, you've noticed that much of the advice out there is designed for full-time coaches. You just don't have that kind of time. Also, a lot of advice is for people who don't have a day job, a corporate career. And sometimes, it's very difficult to post on LinkedIn when your boss is on LinkedIn, your colleagues are there, maybe you're going on job interviews, you're doing something else, and you kind of want to find the right boundary and boundaries and balance. Like, how can I post in a way that is like, it makes sense for all of these areas of my life? So this is the old way, and it doesn't work for busy corporate professionals like you. And in fact, a lot of that advice may not even align with your values. Some of the business advice coaches get is actually not ICF compliant or not aligned with all the coaching values you were trained for. So you might find that if you act on it, it's hard to show up in integrity and stay true to yourself. And this becomes a problem when all the solutions that's presented to you are actually you struggle to apply them. So my approach is different, and you don't need to copy what big businesses do to grow. I think, most new coaches, you have to accept that you're in a different stage, and that's an advantage, not a setback. And let's create a solution that fits this stage of life that you're transitioning from one identity to another. And here's like what works. Firstly, strategic high impact actions that fits your busy schedule. You you might think there are a lot of things you have to do, but not everything actually leads to the real results you want, and that's getting clients. You want to be very strategic with what kind of activities to give your energy to. And then, of course, mm, sorry, authentic visibility that feels natural, also aligned with your values and who you are. So you don't need to do a lot of, I don't know, dancing on reels or do all the crazy things everyone else. So you have to find like what really works for you, but you need to be visible your own way. And also selling through connections, not pressure. Simple, lean systems that attract clients. And so you don't need to chase them. You don't need to send cold DMs to people in that, it looks in that desperate way. You don't need to convince anyone to buy from you. So there is a way to do that. And the best part, you don't need to quit your corporate job right away. It's okay if you want to keep your career while building this coaching thing on the side. This approach is designed to fit that lifestyle and your values. So let me show you how it works. And of course, this was not how I started teaching people or coaching people. I was also following a lot of old-fashioned ways, and this is the result of 2 years of working intensively with people exactly in this position. People who were in corporate jobs wanted to transition to coaching, and they needed a unique model that fits their lives and also is right for building a side business in little time and with little budget. So here it goes. As James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, which you coaches love, I'm sure, says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I love that. I totally believe in that. Building a coaching business is about having a simple, repeatable system that brings consistent results. And that's why I create the Pivot to Coach Success System. It's especially for corporate professionals transitioning to coaching. And what I'm about to share is what I use for my own business and also what I help clients create for themselves in their own unique way. So it's not exactly one strategy. So in 2024, I worked with many highly skilled clients, mostly women from science and tech backgrounds who were in the same position as you. I mean, if you have a corporate job, irrelevant to coaching, and then this is totally new to you, this was like mostly the type of people who I was working with, and I still do. So they had completed their coach training, but didn't have 40 hours a week to build their businesses. They had full-time jobs, little kids to take care of, family responsibility, jobs were demanding. And also the nature of the jobs they had was very different than coaching. So they needed a system to help them reinvent their professional identity in a way that their career transition does not look weird. Also clearly communicate their value as a coach, both to potential clients, also to their employers, because there are also a lot of opportunities inside the workplaces most of the time, and also attract clients on a relatively small budget and time. So a lot of solutions that were taught online was not suitable for them, and they had already taken other courses, mostly because their existing corporate careers were always disregarded. Most of the solutions you see in coaching programs, business programs, they focus on specific topics, but they do not see the context of your life. You actually have a corporate job, you actually have bosses, you have colleagues, you have a network there. You want to work in a way that also makes sense for that network. Maybe you're in touch with a lot of employers, and instead of making coaching as something to hide from them, you can actually use it to even make your career better. Why not? Coaching is a leadership skill at the end. And there are so many skills you gain when you do this kind of training. So why not? Your corporate career can benefit from that. So this system focuses on three interconnected pillars. And these three pillars, they need to be in place. You can't just mix and match, or pick one and let the other ones go. You really need to have three of them together. They work together. The first one is the genius positioning blueprint. It's about defining your unique edge, your genius, and stand out in a crowded coaching market just by being who you are at core. The second pillar is the client attraction system. And it's about consistently bringing in clients that are like the perfect fit clients whose values match yours and you're qualified to serve them. So it's minimal effort and it's without overwhelm because you're attracting the right person, not just everyone. It's much easier. And finally, the content-led reinvention framework. This is the part I'm really proud of. It's about building credibility and visibility with content that works for your schedule and strengths, and also both employer-friendly and client-friendly, let's say. And these pillars, as I said, they work as a system. Each one supports the other one. They're like foundations for each other. They also feed to each other. And if you tried programs before and did not see results, it's likely because one or more of these critical pillars were missing. Okay, let's start with the first pillar. Without clear positioning, your marketing won't have the impact. It just won't work for you. And what is it? What do we mean by positioning? When you just, just talk about general topics and you're not very clear, and you say, I'm just a life coach. I'm just a coach, and talk very general about solutions and personal development. A lot of people might like what you're talking about, but you might end up attracting an audience who doesn't want coaching. A lot of, people who might be okay with just, buying a book and they might be at a different stage of their personal growth. So if you're not very clear about who you're exactly helping, you might have a lot of people around you, but actually you won't be able to sell your services. And that's where the genius positioning blueprint comes in. So if you were my client, this is what we would work on. Firstly, you would work on your unique value proposition. You identify and own your core strengths, your skills, your experiences to stand out in the market. And this is about identifying your unique set of transferable skills from your previous career, your talents, your strengths, your life lessons. Maybe you've healed from something. All of that comes into place to kind of identify where you can bring your best game and who you'd be able to serve best and focus on that area, not just everything, all the areas. That's a specific thing that you're very good at helping, very good at supporting others. The second thing who will work on would be reinventing your professional identity, to bridge the gap between who you were in your corporate career and who you are becoming as a coach. We kind of need to to be able to go into this transition phase to actually communicate to everyone, explain what we're doing, so everyone kind of knows you're a coach and this is what you're able to support them with. And this is not going to be like a cutoff thing. It's going to be a process. The third thing is niche clarity and messaging, crafting a message that speaks directly to your ideal clients, but perfect fit ones, those who are ready to hire a coach, which are very specific type of people, those you are best qualified to serve. So you don't just post lots of stuff, especially educational stuff on social media, that people just scroll through and they've seen so much of that personal development stuff, and it's a bit boring. You create content that's designed to attract the right type of client to you. And you need to know the only way you can do this is that you have to know who you help, what problems do you support them with solving, and also how, with what methods do you support them. And generally, it is proven thing that it's in marketing that people are willing to pay for three categories of solutions: health, wealth, and relationships. So whatever topic you coach them around needs to clearly fit in one of these categories. Otherwise, it probably won't sell. People would be interested in, but it won't be valuable enough for them to invest in, especially if you want to coach people and get paid for it. It's a premium product. One-on-one coaching, group coaching, these are premium products. People are going to spend both time and money, so it better be really solving a really valuable problem for them. And also, we'll work on your thought leadership strategy to position yourself as a trusted expert, even if you're a new coach, because you might be new in coaching, but you have experience in other fields, and that matters. And this is the foundation for attracting clients, which is our next pillar. Attracting, not chasing your ideal client. And not everyone is ready or interested in coaching. I know you love coaching, so do I, but it's not for everyone. And not everyone is ready to pay for it or invest time in it. Or sometimes people have the time and money, but it's a scary thing because it will encourage and take action on some kind of big bold thing. So it's only a small percentage of the society who is actually willing to invest in the premium version of this kind of service. So you will be wasting your time if you try to convince people to do this. The client attraction system that I created helps you attract your perfect fit clients and the only ones who you're most qualified and excited to serve, but also people who are actually looking for coaching. And also the ones who have the mindset around investing in high-end premium support like coaching. It's almost like, there are people who buy the H&M bag and there are people who buy the Chanel bag. And it demands, I can't say this one is better or worse, but it demands a certain mindset to invest in luxury, premium products. And those who invest in coaching have that need and have that mindset, actually. It's not everyone. So not just anyone, and definitely not people who would value coaching. So this is just something to be aware of, that you're not everyone's going to appreciate the value of your work. And the client attraction system helps you attract clients who truly value your coaching, by focusing on clarity, connection, trust. These are the things that are very important in attracting this type of people. And then, of course, every business needs a lead generation system. What does that mean? Is like you constantly want to find and connect with clients you understand deeply. You constantly want to have this flow of new interested people into your world. Then there is another thing that's very important. Another very important element is the magnetic messaging, speaking directly to the needs of your ideal clients, building trust and authority. And of course, you will need a visibility strategy to show up strategically in places where your ideal clients are, and also talking about things that they care about, being in the right place, talking to the right person. And of course, another element that is important in this system is a simple sales system. So converting interest into paying clients through authentic, meaningful conversations. And also, there are so many other elements, like we won't be able to go into detail in all of that, but just want you to know that if you want a business, these are the elements you must have. And together, these pieces create a repeatable system for attracting clients without burning out. And so this is what you need to have in place to be able to have clients in your world. And if you don't have this, then it's probably normal that you're not getting the type of clients you want. So let's move to the final pillar, content that drives long-term visibility and credibility. That's the third pillar. And I know that as a part-time coach, the idea of creating content can feel uncomfortable. This is the case for most people. Some people love it, but 90% of new coaches, they're like, might be thinking, I don't want my colleagues to see my posts on LinkedIn, and what if posting confuses my current employer, especially that a lot of people at this point, they're redefining their career. They want to sort of post content in a way that helps with client attraction, but also does not become a barrier for becoming employed. Or, these are very valid thoughts. And I've been there. I stayed invisible for too long because of these same fears. And I don't want you to make the same mistake. And this is why my method focuses on removing all the discomfort around showing up publicly and creating content in a way that is strategic and respectful of your current career situation and is both employer and client friendly. And content isn't just about posting on social media. In fact, the most impactful content often happens off social media. You will focus on podcasts, summits, webinars, signature talks, and collaborative events. These are places where your ideal clients are already looking for expertise. And you could be just a guest showing up, sharing your expertise. So here's how I would do it. So firstly, I would help my clients create a content plan, create high impact content that builds trust without requiring constant output. It's about quality, not quantity. It's not about posting every day. It could be even posting once a month, even. And then the other element is the storytelling and mind shifting, for the lack of better words. The kind of content that helps people create mindset shifts. So you want to share your personal and professional journey in a way that resonates, builds trust, and positions you as the person they, or as they call, the go-to expert. And the other element of this system is a strategic content opportunities. You want to show up where it matters, on podcasts, in summits, at webinars. We just talked about it. And through collaborations, because you're not there yet, you don't have all the systems, you don't know how to organize maybe a webinar yourself. And maybe you do, but it would be very difficult to bring people in. The easiest way to get into this world is actually do it with people who already have the foundations. They have other skills, you bring something new to them, just doing something together with someone, it's a form of accountability, but it also helps you benefit from their marketing, get into their audience, and it's much less effort. And you don't need to rely solely on LinkedIn or social media. And this is also a great way of up leveling your profile for potential employer, because they can see you're someone who has the communication skills and gravitas to facilitate workshops, express your opinion, teach something and influence others. You have the courage. This is also attractive to employers, so you're not going to lose anything. The other element we'll cover is transformational content over information. Do not focus on generic, like 10 ways to do this and how to do this, how to do that. There is enough information out there. There is AI. People can go ask ChatGPT all kinds of questions. So we don't want to be regurgitating information and knowledge. You want to share your unique insight. You want to create content that is making people think differently and also resonate with you. And by sharing your unique point of view on common topics, you got much further than putting educational content that everyone can Google. So it also it would reduce a lot of work for you because you're being very strategic and intentional about what you're posting. And when your content is a strategic, it does the heavy lifting for you, attracting clients while you balance coaching with your career because you're doing much less. And of course, you can only do this if you have created the foundations with previous pillars, if you know who you are serving, what your niche is, what your genius is. When you know all of that stuff, it becomes very easy to create this part actually. But if you don't know it, then it's not going to work, of course. But you see, this is all part of a system and they all kind of work together. And some of the most successful thought leaders and experts have built their career by embracing who they are, not trying to fit in, and they are following pretty much the same formula. For example, Susan Cain, for example, if you're an introvert like me, you probably have heard about her book Quiet. She didn't hide her introversion. And these days it's very easy to say you're an introvert, but actually it wasn't fashionable a few years ago. So she made it her strength. And by embracing quiet leadership, she created a global movement around it. She became a best-selling author. Uh, and because she was just being herself, she embraced this unique aspect of her, brought it into her work, and built a career around it. And then another lady, she's not super famous, but maybe you came across her book. I totally recommend it, actually, especially for tech people who have become leaders. Julie Zhu, she leaned into her struggles as a tech leader. She was very young, working at Facebook, Meta, and she had to take over a team when she didn't have the skills. And instead of pretending she had it all figured out, she shared her real experiences, insights in her book. And I think the book is called The Making of a Manager. which become a practical guide for leaders in similar situations. But basically, she followed the same formula. She exactly picked something that most people are not talking about. It was not exactly her strength, but it was her genius. It was the area that she had so much experience to share, and she had talents, of course, and trust in herself. So she picked this area and created a brand around it. And then, of course, the famous Mel Robbins, without being a psychologist, she's not a psychologist or mindset expert or anything. She talks about self-help topics from the point of view of a friend. And while I don't personally agree with a lot of her approach, I admire her for the way she sells and markets and communicates her message. I think she has a background in law, but she's picked topics that she's very good at sharing experiences around, and most of her brand is around this like very super simple topics. So, what do they all have in common? They didn't try to be someone they weren't. They leaned into their personal experiences, challenges, expertise to build successful careers without needing massive teams or perfect resumes in their field when they started. Now, I think at least Mel Robbins' massive business. But this is basically how they started. Very simple. And this is exactly what my system helps you to find. Find your genius, trust it, build a business that reflects who you are, build a business around it, and the rest will fall through. Also show you more of how this system works in action. So here's what this system looks like in action for myself and also for my clients. You'll notice most of the images show collaborations, podcasts, summits, webinars, events, and that's because we don't rely on the randomness of social media algorithm to get our content in front of the right audience. I personally, I'm not a very good like social media person. I don't have big following. And sometimes I post something out of my heart and doesn't get the recognition it needs. But I can't just wait for the algorithm to find me. So we want to take a strategic, less random approach. We want to make sure that you have everything under control. And that's the approach I took. So some examples include my clients hosting webinars, which makes me really proud. Webinars or summits, collaborating together, or even working with me on events or projects. Or this is also my favorite way of working because I don't believe in just being a coach in the background. I want to do things with clients. I want to do it with them, not just, give them the strategy and they go do it on their own. And I think this is also the best form of accountability that it comes from growing with my clients and doing the work alongside them. And it also creates a lot of momentum. It's also really helpful when you don't have the audience. You do something in collaboration with someone else who has the audience and you just share your message, you get confident. This is how I built my business, also how I'm helping my clients to build business and build momentum for what they're going to do. And my clients and we all have been featured as speakers, panelists, podcast guests, often on topics like business leadership and executive coaching. And none of this is random. It's the result of a systematic approach, knowing who you are, who you're best equipped to serve, and following a clear strategy to build an expert brand that attracts clients who are ready to invest. And this system is designed to support you in achieving the same results. And to do this, you do not need to be super famous. You can start from zero. But of course, you have your own backgrounds. All you need to do is to be able to articulate all your other transferable skills and experiences and bring that into this coaching work that you want to do. And of course, it's not just to be a coach. You also want to bring all the other skills you have to build this brand for yourself. And it was, all of this is mostly through these collaborations. I was able to connect with my ideal clients, those who excite me, motivate me, make me want to bring my best to them. Let me show you some examples of real people transforming their businesses and lives by embracing their genius, clarifying their message, and taking a strategic action. Take Simone, for example. She's a multi-passionate creative. She had ADHD, which meant she was constantly pulled in a million directions. And she told me she was overwhelmed and couldn't see the path forward. She was able to find focus not by picking one idea, but by bringing all her skills and passions together in one channel, and we worked together, and she was able to finally clarify what she's about to do and start with that big project that she was procrastinating for some time. And then there's Anissa, my dear friend. We actually became really good friends and business partners. Um, and now we're doing a lot of things together. And as a multi-passionate artist, meditation teacher, coach, and she's a project manager in her corporate job, she was struggling to combine her creative side with building a coaching business. And we tailored her client attraction system to fit her lifestyle. And it clicked actually. She's done summits, she's been a best-selling author, she's doing amazing. I'm so proud of her. And she loved that it wasn't about forcing herself into an influencer box, but about practical, useful strategies that worked for her. And now she's joyfully balancing her creative work and coaching with confidence. Another client of mine, Steve Macmillan, I think I forgot to put his name here. He's one of the few guys I work with, mostly work with women. He came to me during one of the most difficult periods of his career as a marketing executive and a software engineer at a very popular brand name in tech. And he wasn't just looking for a strategy. There was really nothing about business and marketing he didn't know. He was much more experienced than I was. But he needed to address some deeper topics in his leadership and how he managed his time as he wanted to grow a consulting business on the side. There was so much else, so much personal stuff going on, and together we were able to sort of to help him on his journey with the support of mindset work and our visibility strategy. He made incredible progress. And then there is Lira. She's also one of my favorite people. She's doing so well in Switzerland. I'm sure you will come across her posts on LinkedIn. She's a wonderful therapist and a skilled conflict resolution expert and mediator. And she has vast experience in serving war zones. She was overwhelmed with the idea of running her own business. And she told me that before working with me, she couldn't see herself as a confident entrepreneur. But after working together, reframing her mindset and refining her niche, refining her marketing messaging, she experienced a complete transformation in how she showed up and marketed herself. And now she's owning her space as a therapist and conflict resolution and therapeutic, trauma-informed leadership coach. And she's serving family offices, owning holdings and large corporations, and helping them through the conflict challenges, which is quite an interesting area. And that's what's possible when you have a system tailored to your unique strengths, not a one size fit all approach, you know. And my clients didn't have to become influencers or do things they felt out of alignment. They simply leaned into what they already had and applied it with clarity and a strategy. And this is available to everyone. Also, I felt I need to share this because I'm not sure if this is being talked about enough. Of course, with courses and group programs being, uh, they're economically a great choice for income creation. Nobody is talking about the importance of one-on-one personalized coaching. Most of the, gurus out there, they're inviting you to stop one-on-one coaching, have group programs, because of course it's more profitable and you can make more money out of them and you can offer more affordable products. But there is this thing. When you start your business, you are new, and if you want the most effective, productive path to get results, it is through personalized attention of a coach, mentor, advisor who knows your business very well and can help you create your own plan, your own business model. Someone who can review your work, create, things with you, and you can have those deep conversations, also have that confidential space that you can actually talk about things that create issues for you. Maybe there are topics you have guilt around, shame around. Maybe you don't feel comfortable bringing them into a group. So you want this discreet, safe, confidential space shared with a professional to actually move forward. And as someone, this is very important. So that's why what really moves the needle is actually having that one-on-one coaching. And I understand private coaching is not cheap. But it's the best way for new entrepreneurs and also for your clients. It's the easiest way to achieve your income goals. And this is also the best way to grow your skills as a coach and put yourself on a path of mastery. This is something I thought I should bring it up because this is really where real change happens. Some people never do this and they spend a lot of time watching a lot of courses, going to a lot of like massive big group programs, but never get to the space of growth. And then they wonder why they're spending a lot of money on personal development, but things are not moving forward. The reason is that they have not invested in one-on-one coaching or mentoring, or someone they have this special space with, and the progress is slow. So if you want to know what is the secret behind the transformational quantum leap of some people, this is the secret. Not only for you, also something for you to take into account when you help your clients. So we've covered a lot. So let's talk about a few unspoken but very common concerns that might be on your mind as you step into your growth journey. Firstly, it's okay to have these thoughts because you're stepping into unfamiliar territory, just this new career, coaching others, working with clients, a coaching business just seems like too much. And you might be thinking, what if I put all my time and energy into this and it doesn't work out? Well, let me tell you, humans are not fixed beings with a limited supply of energy, creativity, or potential. We are constantly evolving, adapting, and growing. And you're in a continuous process of co-creation with the world around you. Every experience, whether it meets your expectation or not, adds to your growth and you become a different person with new wisdom every time you try something new. Either it fails or it is successful, it doesn't actually matter, but you become a different person with new learnings. You might also think like, oh, who am I to think I can be a coach or like a masterful coach when I'm still figuring things out. I'm still learning a lot of things, and maybe I have to wait until I become perfect and then I actually get back to this. Well, guess what? There is no final destination where you've figured it out, but you're uniquely qualified to guide others who are just a few steps behind you. And yes, while you don't need to be perfect, you must walk your talk and you have to show up as the person you want your clients to become. So if coaching is something you want to become really good at, yes, this is going to be challenging and this is going to be the part that you want to pay attention to, but you want to embody your values, you walk your talk, but you don't need to be perfect. And you might also wonder, I'm not as special enough to stand out in this crowded space, and maybe even regret like what was I thinking when I started getting trained as a coach. Let's just keep it as a skill and forget about it. If this resonates with you, it's a sign you haven't yet fully met yourself on a deeper level, and your unique experiences, perspectives, and way of seeing the world are unlike everyone else's. The true differentiation and being unique comes from self-awareness, not comparison with others. And ultimately, success is a choice. It's a path you decide to walk, and it's not always going to be easy. There will always be doubts and fears along the way, but how you choose to manage them will determine your growth progress. So I'm afraid coaching is not exactly like, super easy that, you just give people advice and they pay you. There is so much behind this career. It's the most fulfilling. It's really beautiful, but there is a lot of mental work that goes behind it, and you want to prepare yourself for that. Okay. As Marie Forleo says, clarity comes from action, not overthinking. And now that I've shared all of this with you, I want to encourage you to take action, because without action, all of this I did, it remains just entertainment. And you have two options here. You can choose either or both. So these are my two types of invitations for you. Option one is if you'd like to dive deeper on your own. I've created an extensive audio bundle with over 10 hours of lessons, and it's about attracting your first coaching clients. It's perfect if you prefer to work independently and want the flexibility to listen on the go. It's also created in the form of a private podcast that you can just listen to while you're driving. And there I share a lot of advice about how to do all of this, about this method I just shared. And it's a very affordable, it's a 2-digit price. Something you can enjoy. But this is something there won't be any support from me, one-on-one support from me. It would be just something you will learn yourself. And option two, which is my favorite one, if you're ready to work with 3-5 clients as soon as possible, you've done a lot of work yourself, you really want the clients as soon as possible, and you're done with self-study and you want personalized support to actually implement what you already know, I invite you to apply for a free success roadmap call with me. It's a strategy call. and it's free, of course, only for people who are watching this. And during the call, we will map out the key areas holding you back. We create a customized action plan to help you start attracting clients within 30, 60 days. And only if you're the right fit to, if you're the right fit to work together, then I will invite you to a suitable program tailor-made to your needs. And my strategy sessions are normally around $400 an hour, but I offer 5 free spots each month exclusively to those who watch this video or to my live webinar attendees. And it's on a first come, first served basis. These aren't available anywhere else on my website. I do not share any links to book a call with me. It's usually against applications. So this is something I only share very exclusively with those who watch this. Also, if you're watching this from YouTube, click on one of these links below and you get into the system that will share these links with you. So that was my invitation for you. Of course, it's up to you what you do with those invitations, all this information I shared with you. I hope you found this valuable and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care. Thank you and bye.